Welcome back to my channel, YouTube. Listen, we're gonna jump right in. So if you watched the last episode, there was one key missing thing, and that was mise en place, because I wanted to dedicate a video just for this. And trust me, as a professional chef, I take my mise en place very seriously. So serious that I actually have it tattooed on my arm, mise en place. The importance of mise en place will make or break you. There's a few things that I want to talk about today. There's mental mise en place, there's station mise en place, there's recipe mise en place, there's table mise en place. It goes across the board, but today I want to start off with the basics. A lot of chefs talk about mise en place, but what I want to do is I want to give you 6 actionable steps. One thing we're going to talk about is recipe mise en place. But before the recipe mise en place, we need to talk about station mise en place. So we're going to hop right into it right now. So if you are an upcoming young chef or a young cook, I'm telling you right now, it's very important that you hit that subscribe button. Save this video, share it with somebody that doesn't have their mise en place correct, because trust me, you're gonna wanna see this. Let's hop right in. A lot of young cooks always ask, chef, give me a direction with station mise en place. So listen, I'm gonna shoot you straight. This is what it looks like. If I were in a restaurant, this is kind of how I would say set up my station. So what's really important here? Now, I have oil, salt, pepper, sea salt, finishing salt. I also have a sanitizer rag. I also have a bain-marie with spoons and a spatula. Now, obviously this can change. Okay, so if I'm making a recipe, I'm also gonna have deli cups with lids, and I'm also gonna have a roll of blue tape or whatever type of tape you want. Usually I leave the marker right next to the tape so I don't ever have to worry about it. I also have a marker on my person. Okay, next we have cutting board or cutting surface. Then I have my 2 knives. Now, depending on how big the table is, usually I'll have my knives on my cutting board. But this is pretty much it, right? The only thing we're missing is pass trays. So pass trays, if I'm working a meat station or a vegetable station, let's say the actual station is underneath here. It's just so that way you can put your, let's say if I'm seasoning this here, I have my piece of meat, I pull it out, put it here, I can season, do whatever I want to do. Now, the only thing I'm missing here is obviously you could have gloves, you could also have a scale, you could also have, black to-go containers, 9th pans, 6 pans. This is station mise en place. Now, the other thing I wanted to drive home is I like to do something that's called knolling. And basically what that means is everything is lined up 90 degrees. Okay, now, so what does that mean? If you look at the term knolling, that's an artist term that basically means when you're looking overhead, everything is at 90 degrees. And I really try to drive this home with young cooks and chefs because it just goes to show station organization. So let's break that down. Now, sometimes I will ask a cook, hey, is your station 90 degrees? And if they respond no, or what does that mean? I'm gonna give you a prime example. So let's say I'm looking for a 90 degrees. See how this pass tray? Okay, if I just come over to my station and just do that, right? Now that is not 90 degrees and that is not knolling, right? So in fine dining restaurants and also Michelin rated restaurants, what we like to do is line up everything 90 degrees. So instead of just slamming the pass tray down like this, the idea of lining it up perfectly so it looks nice and neat, that is what's really important. So that is what I call station mise en place. Okay, another really important thing, if I use a spoon, okay, let's say I'm going to plate something, all right, great. Do I put the spoon back right here? No, put the spoon back in its home. Wipe the station, okay? Towel goes back, okay? This is so important. So if you're a young cook, young chef, please take this advice. Your station is a direct reflection of you, all right? Great. I use my knife, okay, let's say I'm chopping. Okay, boom. What do I do next? I wipe off my knife. You wipe off your knife, clean, dry, then you put it back. Change gloves, do whatever you have to do. But this is really important. The knife does not go over here, okay? The knife goes back to its home, okay? So if whether you're working a meat station, garde-manger station, this is very important, okay? So I know I'm kind of going on a tangent, but I think this is so important for the young culinarian coming up. Okay, great. Let's say I want to go put oil in a saute pan. So boom, I'm going to the station and I'm going to put oil. I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's say I want to oil up a meat. Do I put that back right there? Absolutely not. Put the oil back where it belongs, okay? This is station mise en place. Very important. Everything in its place, all right? I'm going to play devil's avocado. So if I'm at home and I'm cooking at home, does this apply to me? No, come on, like, let's be honest. If you're cooking at home, do you need to set up your station like a professional chef or a professional cook? No, but this episode, I really want to make sure that people can actually download what I'm trying to say. So keep your station neat and organized and make sure your mise en place is tight, 90 degrees. So if I sent you to this video, you're the one who left a dirty station or is unorganized as they are working and cooking. Let's get into the next scenario. Let's go. Okay, next, very important here. Again, just keep in mind, I'm at home, but if I were in a restaurant and I am a cook on a station, or if I'm the sous chef, or even an intern or extern, and the chef says, can you mise en place out this recipe? Right? I'm gonna give you 6 actionable tips to be able to execute this recipe with confidence in a busy kitchen. So first things first, you print out the recipe or you have it written down. Then you're gonna go grab the item. So step 1, I have this written down and I'll leave it in the description. Read the entire recipe and tasks that need completion. So don't just grab the paper and start grabbing. Read it so you can start getting memory, right? So you're gonna you are mentally gonna prepare, right? I need sugar, I need water, I need lemon juice, I need ginger, I need vanilla, I need a pot, I need this, right? So first things first, what I do is I grab the food, right? Now, I just so happen to be prepping this recipe for Coke Sisters. I've never made this before, so I'm super excited actually. But a good example is I am filming this recipe tonight, okay? And so for me as a chef, it is just much more ideal for me to, oh, this is what it looks like, by the way. Wanted to show you a quick what it looks like. But this is just a real life scenario of how I shoot content. It works out better for me when I have all my mise en place and it's ready to go. So now let's elaborate. So first thing I'm doing is I'm checking and making sure I have all these ingredients, right? Great, once I have all the ingredients, I go to step 2, gather the ingredients. Oh, sorry. Step 1, read the entire recipe and tasks that need completion. Right, boom, prepare your workspace. Prepare sanitation bucket, prepare the equipment, check that all equipment is clean before food preparation. That is what you do in a restaurant. But we're on number 2, which is gather ingredients. Now, I've already done that for you, but what I like to do is I like to separate everything out. Now, this is a double-edged sword. If you are at the house and you're a home cook, you really don't need to do this, right? If you're making, this for your family, you can just measure as you go, it's totally fine. But for me as a chef, I'm giving a demonstration right now, so I wanna show you exactly how I do this. So, a good example is the 625 of sugar, 250 mils of water. I have my sugar, I have my water, I have my pot here, right? So I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I have my flour, and then I have, my vanilla extract, butter, lemon, ginger peel, and milk, right? And I think what's really important is for me as a chef, I don't like to peel or juice lemon before I make the recipe. Same thing with ginger. You wanna keep it super aromatic, but obviously you can do whatever you want. But I think what's really important is you have all your mise en place, all your mise en place out. Then next, I know I'm gonna be frying these, so I have my fryer already kind of set up. I have a pot for my simple syrup. And I've also added a few more tools. So I know I'm gonna have a dough, so I grab a bench scraper. I'm also gonna need a whisk for my sugar, so I added that as well. I'm also gonna need tongs. And I think that's really important. So boom, this is our mise en place. And I can't stress enough, if let's say I had onions or I had bell pepper, then you wanna get those cut and set aside. So that way, before you cook, you have everything ready. This is mise en place. All right, next. So again, number 4, you wanna go back, check your mise en place, read the entire recipe and tasks that need completion. Very important. Okay, then you can start cooking. And then listen, it doesn't stop there. As a chef, I think what's really important is task completion. All right, sorry, I got my handheld camera, but I keep on saying that, but this is really important because I know somebody's gonna find value out of this. Some people might be offended, whatever. Task completion, right? Once you start a project, start it and finish it 100%. So when let's say I make this dough, I fry everything, my task is not complete until I clean everything, store it properly, label it, and date it. All right, so that is when the task is complete. Then I clean my station and I move on to the next task. Now, of course, if you're a sous chef or a chef and you are, running behind, and of course, like, I'll be honest, if you are, more experienced, you can get away with removing half of these steps. Let's say if you need to make this quickly, you can cut this time down to 15 minutes by just grabbing a couple things, like I would throw my simple syrup on first, I'd pre-mix my dough, or you could start the dough and then you can throw the syrup on. But if you're new and you want to work on being better organized and have your mise en place in check in your time management, I would highly recommend start with this. Okay, start here. This is a baseline. All right. Everything in its place, very important. And the last thing I want to talk about is labeling and dating. Now, a lot of chefs have their different ways on how they like to label, but this is regarding labeling in a restaurant, okay? So now they have these really cool labels that have the date and the timestamp and it's all printed and that's really cool. But guess what? For me, I like to use this. And as a chef, this is what I use. Now, here's the thing. I don't like edges that aren't clean. So, when I was younger as a chef, I used to be a Nazi about using scissors and clipping the ends, but I met in the middle on this. It's just more efficient and an easier way to do things. Now, let's get to the labeling part of this. Okay, boom. So, the name of the ingredient or name of whatever you're going to be storing, your initials, and the date, right? Oh, so I put 615. Obviously, I put a little slash in there, but it's totally fine. So I think this is really important because you want to make sure that it's legible, right? And also, don't worry about, if you don't have good handwriting. Listen, I don't have good handwriting either. I try to shoot for capital letters most of the time, but I think it's really important when you're going to label something. Here's a good example for me as a chef, because I'm a little OCD. I like to make sure it's centered. So I'm doing this, and then boom, and then make sure it's centered, right? And then that is your label. All right. I don't want to see none of this. I don't want to see none of this. Hell no. This is a no. You're going to jail if I see that. But anyway, I think that's really important. So I know this was kind of long-winded, but I wanted to really take it step by step and show you how to organize yourself and make sure your mise en place is tight. It doesn't matter what kitchen you're working in. If you're brand new in the kitchen, it's going to be very overwhelming. And I think what's really important, and my pro tip is, because I've seen it a lot, is I've seen a lot of new young chefs where they grab a ton of stuff and they have 15 projects working and the mise en place is all jacked up, right? They have crap over here. They start cooking without being completely prepped up. And just trust me, work on one task diligently at a time. Do not juggle 3 to 5 tasks. I am 20 years plus in this industry and I still struggle with working more than 3 or 4 tasks at a time. What has made me better is executing one task start to finish, or while something is cooking, then I start another task. But it's really important that you know the importance of mise en place. So I hope this helps. Hopefully I'll be able to finish this tonight and I'll put a finished product of what it looks like at the end. Thanks a lot for watching and make sure you hit that subscribe button.